Hi, my name is Ashley B. Ready to do horror movie content every single day, and today I'm joined by the amazing horror podcast host and independent filmmaker, Patrick Guera. How are you, sir?
Good, Ash. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you. I feel like we've known each other for a long time, but we've never actually properly met on video chat.
That that's like the beauty of being a friend on TikTok.
Yeah,
Like there's like a deeper familiarity than any of the other social medias because I see your face, I hear your voice, and it's
yeah.
so easy to know who you vibe with and who you don't vibe with. And
Mm.
I vibe with Ash very quickly,
Oh,
right from the start.
thank you. I vibe with you too. But yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for being here. I have actually wanted to interview you for quite a long time. So you've released a short film called The Path, which is hard to talk about without giving it away completely. But if you can, tell a slight premise of The Path and how it started, how long it took you to make the movie, how did it all begin?
The basic premise of the path is there is a young boy walking alone on an isolated path, but he is not alone.
Mhm.
And I'll leave it at that in terms of like what it's about.
Mhm.
Um, it came together really. I was trying to put together another short film, and I think we're going to talk about um, Don't Do It in a little bit here. But
Mhm.
after Don't Do It, I sort of realized that I needed to make a horror short film. Don't Do It's a drama, and I specialize in horror. I've talked about horror on a podcast for 5 years, and I was like, this is crazy. I need to make a horror film. And I was kicking around ideas, and I wasn't loving it. And one day I was driving home and I was driving past this field that's right behind my house. And there's this long field with all this tall yellow grass in it. And I saw a man standing in that field. And it
Mhm.
conjured just this image in my head. And from that image came the path. And it's weird how that works, but I built this short story. And I think on the page, it was like 2.5 pages or something. It was just a description of what was happening.
Mhm.
And there's no dialogue in the film or anything. And then for about 6 months we put it together because work got in the way. So with my producers and the actors and the availability of key crew members, things kept getting pushed around. And it was supposed to be shot in like June or something of last year, and it ended up being shot in November of last year.
Okay.
So it took a lot of time
Mm.
to get it off the ground, even though it was going to be shot right behind my house, even though it was no dialogue, and it could I could shoot it in a weekend.
Mm.
All of this stuff was just pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And even when we finally locked the date in, we had to push it back another month because it was like 100 degrees the weekend we were supposed to shoot. So we had to push yet again because of
Mhm.
availabilities and all that stuff. And this was all just for a tiny little short. It's
Yeah.
so crazy how this little thing took so long to make because people were busy and schedules were as such. And but I'm glad if we saw it through. I'm actually very proud of the work.
Yeah, it should be. It's really, really good. I like watching your stuff with all the lights off. I feel like it's supposed to be quite claustrophobic. I don't know if that's what you're going for, but that's what I feel like when I watch it. That's a compliment, by the way.
I mean, listen, if I had it my way, I would watch everything in a movie theater, right? Like
Mm,
that's how I love. I'm obsessed with movies and television and all that, but to be locked in that dark box and to like just
yeah.
be immersed in whatever it is that you're taking in. So no, that's like the highest compliment you could give me,
Yeah.
Ash.
Oh, that's it. I really mean it. And then speaking of that, like obviously you got to see this film on the big screen recently, which must have felt like, what did that feel like? Is that the first time that you've seen one of your films on a big screen?
It's not the first time. It's the
Okay.
first time I saw this movie on a big screen.
Ah, okay.
I'm very fortunate that it's being picked up by a lot of festivals.
Hmm.
It first got picked up by Panic Fest, which I was so grateful for, and they put it out virtually, so like
Hmm.
anyone in I think the United States could see it if they wanted to,
Yeah.
which was amazing to me, and I got to promote that, and a lot of people helped me promote that, so a lot of people got to see the path virtually through Panic Fest, and
Mhm.
then Chicago Horror Film Fest was the first time it was going to be put on a big screen. And I was like, well, I have to be there for that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was working in London and I was like, on my way back from London, I will just fly straight to Chicago and go see it play on a big screen because I may never get that chance again, although I will because now there's more screenings coming.
Yeah.
But you never forget your first time that you see
Yeah.
your work on a big screen
Hmm.
as a movie obsessed person, as a person who grew up loving movies but never even dreaming of being a director or anything like that. Never, there was never even a thought as a kid. to
Mm.
like sit in a dark theater with a bunch of people and hear them cheer your movie
No.
it's a dream come true.
Was that not your first dream?
No, I
Mm.
honestly, I come from a very poor background. It wasn't even a dream, if that makes any sense at all. It's just like
Mm.
you don't even think that that's a thing you can do. When I was a little kid, I was certainly obsessed with movies. I loved watching them. I knew who directors were.
Mm.
Uh, and weirdly enough, I think when I was about 4 or 5 years old, my family took me to a fair and they did those little caricatures, where they
Oh,
draw
yeah, the
you with a
drawings,
big
yeah.
big giant head and a little
Yeah.
body. And the guy asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and at 5 years old, I told him I want to be a director.
Oh,
Now,
that's so cool.
I don't. Kids at 5 say fireman, spaceman, whatever. I said director. I have no idea why. And he drew me with a little megaphone sitting on a director's chair and with a little
Oh,
clapper board and all that. And I'm like, that's so weird because I never again dreamt like that. Like it wasn't like I spent my youth going, how do I become a filmmaker? I didn't. I really
yeah.
didn't. I just went through life like a regular kid. And it wasn't until college where I was like, well, I guess I'll try this out. Like I like movies. I'll try it out because I really didn't
Mm.
know what I wanted to do with my life. And
Mm.
I chose movies just because I kind of liked them. And I didn't even think I was going to direct. I was like, I'll go to film school. I'll learn how to do stuff. I don't know. And then like it's weird to say I fell backwards into being a director and writer, like, but I
Mm.
totally did. I totally like out of nowhere in the middle of film school was like, I guess I'm writing and directing stuff.
But you obviously are very passionate about it now. So,
Truly, it's
yeah.
it is my obsession. Like I was
Mm.
always concerned that maybe I wouldn't have a life as an artist because I felt like I didn't have the obsession that I saw in artists. And then I
Mm.
was like, what are you talking about? You're obsessed with movies.
Yeah.
So pursue that. And I'm fortunate that it's coming to fruition the way it is at this current time.
And I just want to also say a big shout out to Justin from Slasher Talk who did the poster for your film, The Path. I think it's important that we shout him out because he's a good guy and I think he'd appreciate that.
Oh my God. I couldn't even believe it. Like if people don't know who Slasher Talk is,
Mm.
Justin, a very talented guy. I love his opinions. He's very like uncensored in terms of how he feels about movies,
Yeah.
but more importantly, an incredibly talented artist. So I guess he was a fan of my podcast, which blew my mind because I was like, I know him, but he knows me.
Yeah.
Like that was the weird thing. So he knew the podcast, and so he followed my co-host Damon Martin. And then when I joined TikTok, he started following me. I reached out to him as we were working on the short, and I was like, I know you get asked this all the time, but would you be interested in making a very simple poster for my film?
Mm.
And he's like, of course I would. And I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Aw.
Like I was so blown away because if people don't know, Justin made the 4K steelbook cover for Terrifier 3.
Yeah, he
He's
did.
not like just some guy. He's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
and believe me, just some guy out there is fine. But
Mhm.
he's a really talented person that they rely on to make good stuff. And I sketched out this really, really rough idea. I was like, this is just kind of what I'm looking for. Honestly, it doesn't have to be too crazy because this is a very simple and short film. And he brought back something that had so much life in it. And really he's an artist and it
Yeah.
comes through in this very simple, very effective poster. And I should mention to you, Ash, you may not know this, his company also did the credits, all the writing in the credits, like all the lettering.
Oh no, I
They
didn't know
did
that.
that.
Oh, cool.
So, I want everything about this short to have some style to it. And so everything in the credits is also designed by Justin and his partner.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. That's the thing, like if you
Hmm.
can help each other out for these things as well. I know that he definitely's done stuff because I know that he did the things for Terrifier. I feel like it might have been Chuck that put something up and then you did and you mentioned Justin and I was like, oh, I had no idea he did the poster. So it's also really nice that everyone shouts each other out. So I just wanted to do that. Give him a
Oh
little
yeah,
shout out.
absolutely. We gotta shout them, and I gotta shout out
Yeah.
Chuck.
Oh, we
Chuck
love
is
Chuck, the movie
We
guy Chuck.
love Chuck, your movie guy, Chuck, who I really became close with. Like Chuck and I
Mm,
talk outside of social media now.
mhm,
He curated a showcase with Gorgasma at a big horror convention in Los Angeles that my film screened at, and that's
mhm,
that's Chuck's doing. You know, Chuck,
Oh.
I showed it to him. Chuck is a brutally honest guy.
Oh yeah.
And I knew, I was like, Chuck, this is hot off the press. Like, I haven't shown anybody. I just wanted to show it to you. And I want your dead honest thoughts. And I knew he wouldn't BS me at all. And he kind of disappeared for the night. He's like, dude, it's 4 a.m. where I'm at. I need to go to bed. I'll look at it tomorrow. Very Chuck. Like, Chuck's a straightforward guy. And I was like, cool. And I'm still on. And then I see him jump back in about 30 minutes later. And he goes, let me up to the live. And I was like, yeah, Chuck, what's up? And he's like, I just watched it and I love it. He goes, and I think it's great. And I think people need to see it. And then he became a champion for it. When you got a guy like Chuck that has your back, it changes the game. And he's a very valuable person in the business, and like studios take him very seriously because when Chuck talks about something, people listen. So there's no small parts in how the path has been like spread around. And so I definitely got to shout out Chuck too, because he's absolutely championed this film. He's an amazing guy.
He is amazing. I was talking to him. I actually find it crazy in the most brilliant way possible, like how far he's come. Because I remember when he had less followers than me, because you're such a humble person and you just like really respect people in the way that you say things. It's never like, oh my God, this film's amazing, or this was it. It's just by like, you know what, it was good, but blah blah blah. And I was like, it takes a lot to be honest about that. So yeah, if he's saying it's good, it is very good. Yeah, but obviously it's hard to talk about it without spoiling it too much. So I don't want to press on it too much, but all I will say is it's definitely worth people's time watching. Is there anywhere that they can watch it at the moment that's not in festivals, or do you think it will be streaming anywhere?
I would like, when it's done, short answer is no. You can't find it anywhere online currently. But what my goal is when it is done with its festival run, my goal is to find home for it on a streamer. If it's Netflix or if it's Tubi or whoever is gracious enough to say, we like your short, we'll take it. You better believe I will be all over social media promoting that, going, please go there, watch it, take 7 minutes out of your day to watch it on this streamer and help us out and pump us up. And I am proud of it, Ashley. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm proud of my work, but
you should be.
I'm in love with it because I love horror. I live and breathe horror. And I made something that I felt was like very specifically me and unique. You know, I don't want to like pat myself on the back, but it just, I felt like it wasn't standard stuff. Like it was something I was like, I want to try this and see if anyone resonates with it. And thankfully some people have.
And there's that one man that was standing in that field that just has no idea that this movie was made about him.
Idea.
He has no idea. He's a star of his own show and he has absolutely no clue.
Can I just say, Ash, so that field was the big inspiration, and I had this design for the opening kind of moments of the film based on that field, and I shot it all right there, like where that exists. About a week before we were going to shoot, a construction team came in and bulldozed that entire field down.
Oh no.
Like entirely. It was nothing but dirt. Like the week before we were going to shoot, but they left this little section, and what you see in the short film is the section that it remains. Okay. And so everything behind the camera is just giant construction equipment and and raised earth. Like if you turn the camera around, it's just a construction site. Which I went out there with my cinematographer Jamie, and I said, Jamie, we have to figure this out because it's all the things we had planned are out the window. And so I would go out there all the time, like even by myself, and I would take pictures, and I would go at a certain time of day and I would look and I would go, okay, well, we can't shoot that way anymore. So what if we shot like this? And what if we use this little path here? Or what if we use this part for this scene over here? To any burgeoning filmmaker out there, like, go to your location a lot and really and go to it more than you think, because I think that saved us, that I kept looking for little pockets and places to play, because we lost quite literally 90% of the location a week before we were going to shoot.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, you would never have known that. So well done on just like covering that up and having like, because I would never have known that fact. So that there you go. There's a behind the scenes. If you're happy to, could we also speak about Don't Do It?
I would love to talk about Don't Do It.
It's so good.
Thank you.
I've watched it a few times. I really have. And I was sitting on my bed and I was like, okay, did this, blah, 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 put it on. And I'm just like, wow, like this is just like again, it's up to you if you want to kind of discuss what it's about because I don't really want to ruin it, but
Anything.
obviously it's important. There were so many themes in there that were obviously maybe quite difficult. But when I was watching it, I was just curious if it was maybe related to something with you, or if you're happy to talk about that, if it was something personal for you.
It was personal, but also like I wanted people to be able to relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Don't Do It is essentially about intrusive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned through the process of writing it was that, well, I'll back up a little bit. So I think everybody has intrusive thoughts, and there are varying degrees to that. But I just thought about like, boy, all those times I've thought about doing something really stupid and not doing them. What would have happened if I would have acted on one of those things? It could have like completely changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the point of Don't Do It. And for anyone who's listening, Don't Do It's a drama. It's not a horror. There's some tension in it, but it's very much a drama. It's very much just asking about like what choices you could make that could potentially change your entire life. And that's the story of this person, this guy Luke, that we follow through the story at three different parts in his life. He made choices that affected his life very significantly. Ultimately, I wrote a few drafts of it, and again, it was something very short, something with no dialogue in it or very little dialogue in it, just to kind of show the emotionality of this person. And then I sent it to a writing friend of mine in Ireland, and he took a look at it, and he's like, do you mind if I just share this with a friend of mine, because he struggles with intrusive thoughts. I didn't know that there is a level of intrusive thoughts that is actually clinically like an issue,
Mm-hmm.
where these people like have to take medication. They actually really really struggle with intrusive thoughts in a
Mm-hmm.
way that I didn't understand before. And his friend looked at it and he goes, you've really nailed what it's like to live in this like prison. And I was like, what? Like that's totally by accident. I'm not gonna like take credit as some genius, psychological genius.
Yeah.
But this guy was like, I suffer this stuff, and what you put here on the page is a perfect like example of it.
Yeah.
And I reached out to a friend of mine, Andrew Burns, who also produced The Path, and I said, I have this idea. He had just produced and directed a short film, so I said, I have this idea, and I wondered if you'd want to help me with it. And I'm very grateful for Andrew, and he said, of course I want to help you with it. And we shot it over three different days. So there's three segments in the movie. We shot all those segments separately, and it came together with a most of that creative team came to The Path, most of them,
Mm-hmm.
except for the cinematographer. It's a different cinematographer. But the cinematography in Don't Do It is very gorgeous, by
Yeah.
a beautiful, a very dear friend of mine, Milan Spasic, a Serbian cinematographer who's incredible. I was very fortunate that a very talented group of people believed in that vision, and that was super humbling, and I felt just incredibly grateful because I had this great cinematographer, this great producer who also himself is a very talented photographer, great actors. My producer brought in a couple of really incredible actors, and what came out of it, I thought was a very emotional and real thing. Like I felt like everything about that movie. And Ashley, please, you can talk freely about this movie. It's out there
Mm-hmm.
for the public to see. Like there's
Yeah.
this is the spoiler section, folks. We're
Oh,
going to
good.
talk
Yeah.
fully about the
Definitely
movie.
will. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really proud of it. It won San Diego International Film Festival, which is a proper good film festival. I couldn't believe that, you know.
Nice.
It I don't know. I'm very very. It's a very important piece of work to me.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like honestly, I watched it, like I said, I watched it a couple of times. And I feel like for me, like when I watched it the first time, I just at the end of it, I was just very quiet. Like which is I'm not quiet. So I was just kind of sitting there very quietly and I was like, whoa, that really made me feel something. And I'm not really sure if like sad is the right word. It just made me feel something. Like it just made me feel like emotional in a way. That was like it hit something with me. And I didn't really know where it was going because obviously you had the bit at the beginning and then you had the bit the guys in the bar and then this bit in like the beach and I was like is this going to be really, really sad? Or is it going to be like, oh, this is nice in the end? And that's why I like it was kind of unpredictable. Also, I don't know if it was like the music was kind of getting to me as well. Just the sound that I'm such a massive sound geek. Like I could talk about it for hours.
Hmm.
So the sound that was used in it was very beautifully done as well. And I was like, wow, this is really, really nice. I think genuinely, I'm not saying this because it's been recorded. I'm not saying this because it's on camera. But I'm saying this because of being honest. I think out of a lot of short things that I watched, that really stuck with me the past couple of years than a lot of other things. And maybe because it was drama as well, and it wasn't necessarily like jump scare or anything like that. It just was like emotional and psychological. And anything psychological to me, I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I really liked it. And I recommend people
Thank you.
watch it. Yeah. I mean that.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
watch it on my Instagram or my TikTok at Director Patrick. And then shout out also to CJ Thomas, our composer, who did a beautiful score for
Yeah.
that movie. And I think I think it makes a lot of difference. Like the music, especially so both films and CJ's composer on both films. Both films don't have dialogue and they don't rely on dialogue to tell the story.
Mhm.
So the sitting down and doing the spotting sessions with CJ, we're talking about the emotionality of every one of those scenes.
Mhm.
And he's going over and handcrafting the music himself. He's just an incredibly talented individual.
Mhm.
So that's CJ putting his touch on Don't Do It and on The Path, which I thought both had phenomenal scores,
Mhm.
if I do say so myself. But
Yeah,
I
you
didn't do
were.
any of the work. He did all the work. I think they put the final stamp on how we feel about it. And
Mhm.
so I think when the ending of Don't Do It is this man on the beach and he's going to choose to go into the water, and I left it very ambiguous how what happens once he enters the water on purpose, because I want
Yes.
people to engage with it and
Yeah.
decide what decision he made or why he made that decision.
Ah, okay. So you
Um,
didn't actually have an ending. That was more of like a you decide.
he goes into the water. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We see that.
Yeah.
Why he goes into the water is up to you. It was designed that way, yeah, because
Mhm.
I feel like we're all so unique and different and how we deal with our lives. And I think that moment on the beach is really this man like looking back on his life and the choices that he's made. And there's a lot of regret, there's a lot of pain, and shout
Mhm.
out to Joseph Lloyd Lopez, who did a phenomenal job acting in that moment. We
Yeah,
had
he
a
was
lot of
really good.
discussions. He's an incredible actor who you
Yeah.
see in a lot of stuff, by the way.
Mhm.
I always see him as he was in Dead Mail, I think, which is out on Shutter right now.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we got very lucky that we got him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's so busy because he has such a unique look, he
Yeah.
has really striking features.
Yeah.
And so he brought you through all those like emotions in that moment. He brought his actor's acumen to that. And it's about like, once you become an adult, a real like a real adult, like a 30s and 40s adult who's had a lot of life to look back on,
Mhm.
um you can there's a lot of feelings you have. There's not just one. And he put that on the screen so well. Like he
Yeah, he
shows
did.
like I regret doing this. I'm upset that I did that, but I remember this happy moment too, and I remember this and I remember that. And him getting into that water is him releasing himself from all of that.
Mhm.
Now, what happens once he's in the water is completely up to you.
I love endings where you have to think. Like I love like Inception was like the dream to me. I was like, oh, here we go. Like now we're gonna be like, what is this? Is it real? Is it not? And I love that everyone,
Yeah.
even to this day, is still talking about that. So that's a really good movie. But I loved it. I'm gonna be really honest and say that that's my favorite thing I've seen you do so far. They're both great, but that was my personal favorite.
Thank you.
Do you have any future plans in the works at the moment? Anything you're working on right now, or are you taking a little break?
I mean, define break, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't really know what that looks like. I just finished the first draft of a feature version of The Path.
Oh, cool.
There's some interested parties. I'll just leave it at that. And
Interesting.
so I finished the first draft. It's not good, Ashley. I'm here to tell you and anyone who listens that is an aspiring filmmaker and writer,
Okay.
um, your first draft needs to be terrible because you need to finish it.
Yeah, you're your
Like
biggest critic as well. So you have to
Well,
understand
but
that.
I mean, it's objectively bad.
Okay.
But the point is you have to let that first draft just be bad.
Mm,
Like you just need to get it over the line.
mhm.
Once it's over the line, you can make it better. But
Okay.
get it over the line. And then when it's over the line, you go, cool, I have this finished script. It's not good,
Mm,
but now I can fix it. Like
mm,
now it's there to play with. If you never get it over the line, then you don't have a way to fix it because it's not done yet. You go,
mhm.
oh, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they have to get it right the first time. You won't. The
Mhm.
best writers on the planet don't get it right the first time. So what makes you special? Sometimes you'll ditch a character completely. You were like, "Oh my god, wait, that was the main character. I guess I have to get rid of them."
Mhm.
Get rid of them and then new draft comes together. Like trust me, the best in the business do it that way. Let your ego go and make a
Yeah.
terrible first draft and then the next one will be better.
The best way to look at it is like you have this massive line of failures, and you might think that's bad, but without any of that, you can't go up. Like nothing's going to change. So that's how I look at a lot of things when I do them. So similar sort of,
It's the only way.
yeah, similar, different art forms, but same sort of mindset, I guess. I was gonna just play like a fun little game with you, ask you some fun questions because I really like getting into this, and I'm so
Love it.
nosy about you. I do follow you on Letterboxd, and I have a bone to pick with you about Letterboxd
Go ahead.
because you rate so many movies 2 stars. I absolutely love, and I'm like, why have you rated this? Like, but then I saw on your bio that you were like 2.5 stars is a good movie. I was like, is it? Like, would you say?
It
I was like,
is.
is it? Like, that's bad.
It is because it's literally the middle point of the ranking system on Letterboxd.
I'm
So
not wrong, to be fair. Okay, I get you.
I'm just going by what they have. So if something is right down the middle, it's a perfectly passable movie. It means it's right down the middle and then everything above it is getting better and then good and then great.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, this
Okay.
is a right down the middle movie. Anything below that is like I probably wouldn't recommend that to anybody. And then, the
Yeah.
one and the 1 stars and the half stars are, ooh, those are bad.
But to me, anything under 3 stars is a bad film. So I'm like,
Yeah,
like
there are
zero to
people
heroes. I'm
out.
like,
There's the
oh,
3 star people and the two and a half
yeah,
star people. I'm a
I
two and a
get
half
you.
star person.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind next time because you hurt my feelings a few times. I was like, oh no, Patrick, bad.
I think honestly, I'm gonna go through my letterbox and remove all the stars. I think I'm gonna have to because people take so much umbrage with what you rate on. But I'm curious, like what's bugging you?
That to be honest, like I'm getting at you, and now I'm trying to remember which movie it was. But it really upset me clearly because I was like, "Wow, I can't believe that you rated that 2.5 star. That's awful." Ironically, now I'm going to ask what your top four is on Letterboxd.
So here's the thing: I don't know my top four on Letterbox.
You
I
don't
have
have a
no
top
idea,
four.
but I can tell you my top four personal top four
Yes,
movies.
top four. That's what it is.
Uh,
So you can tell. You can tell.
yeah,
I've got
so
you
it should be on there somewhere, but it's not because
now.
I don't curate my letterbox correctly. Alien is my number one movie of all time.
Good one.
The original 1978. It's perfect.
It is good.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which one?
The the original.
You're like obvious.
Oh no, we're not. I know people love the remake. It's
That's
not
why I'm
even
asking
close.
you just to double check.
Yeah, no, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's also like I think, and maybe Ash, you can lend some insight, but like as an American movie and what
Mm-hmm.
it says about America is much stronger than any of the gore or any of the
Yeah.
horror of it. It is a commentary on lifting the veil of American society and showing what it does to
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
in its own extreme way, but it's still very much a commentary on America. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets missed a lot when people are like, "Oh, that movie's so boring. Oh, the acting's so terrible." Or like nothing happens in that movie. I go, "That's not what this movie's about."
No,
Like
it's a great
you're
movie.
looking for a standard horror movie. It's not a standard horror movie. It's one of the most special horror films and one of the most special films that's ever been put out by an American storyteller. So Alien,
Mm-hmm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Mm-hmm.
Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good film. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Absolutely love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Lost Boys,
I've
which I
never seen
love.
it. Wait for a reaction. I know.
That's so. But you know what? It's okay if you haven't, and it may not hit for you.
I really want to see it. It's literally on my list. Like it's one of those ones I just, as a horror fan, even as a
I
like,
would
it's ones I've never
love
seen it, but I'd like to see it.
I would love to see the Ashley B. Red review
Oh,
of The Lost Boys.
okay. It's on my
That's
list.
Yes.
Mhm.
So The Lost Boys huge.
Mhm.
And then number 5 is kind of a floater. Like I wouldn't like I don't know if I have like a solid like answer for number 5.
Mhm.
But there's a ton of great movies out there, so I will throw out Dog Day Afternoon by Sidney
Okay.
Lumet.
I love
I
that you
think
put
it's
five
just
when there's only
genius.
four, but I'm just letting you away with it.
I,
It's top
it
four,
has to
but
be said.
five is
It has
three.
to be said.
And now this is more towards you because obviously you're doing short films. Do you have a favorite short film? Doesn't have to be horror.
Do I have a favorite short film? There's a short film, and I'm gonna get the name wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a super effective film. And now that I think about it, maybe it even like influenced me. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say it's called The Smiling Man. There's just this person walking down a very normal looking street at night, and he turns around and there's this guy behind him with a big smile just kind of standing there, and then he starts to like snap his fingers and like weirdly walk towards him, and
Creepy.
it's the simplest, weirdest, most effective little short film
Mm-hmm.
that anyone could have made. It's
Mm-hmm.
You could have made it tonight with your phone and a friend.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
just
I think
creepy.
it's so effective and good and creepy. And I always think about that short film all the time. I,
I'm
I
looking it
just
up. It looks like it is. I'm just looking it up, and there is something called The Smiling Man that's 8 minutes long from 2015 that looks quite
I bet
similar to
that's
what you're
it.
talking
And
about.
is there a guy smiling like with his head to the side?
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
really
bet
good.
that's it.
Yeah, I'll double check with you if that's the one, and then I will watch it after this. So
Fair
I'll
enough.
see.
I hope that's the title of it. Yeah, I just so simple, so effective, and proof that if you have the idea, go make it.
Mhm.
Like just go make it. Like that took nothing to make. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
if it cost them money, they did something wrong. Like that movie was so easy to make.
Mm. This is one of my favorite things to ask anyone because it's always like controversial. What horror movie do
Mm.
you think is overrated?
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, so every time this comes up, I say Barbarian. Um,
Oh no, I love
I
Barbarian.
think Barbarian's terrible.
No, you
I
don't
think it's
really.
no, I do. I genuinely think it's a very bad movie.
Oh, I
But
really hate
here's the
that.
thing. It's really well directed.
Mm,
I can't fault Zach Kreger for he knows where to
mm,
put the camera to create dread. Like,
mm.
don't get me wrong. The story is ludicrously bad. Like
Okay,
terrible
that's your
on all
opinion.
fronts. I think it's fact, Ashley. I think it's not
You
I think
like
it's a
that
fact.
movie? Okay, it's your
I know a
opinion.
lot
It's
of people
okay.
do. So
Yeah.
Barbarian is like always my knee-jerk reaction
Okay.
because even Zach Kreger admitted he didn't know how to finish the story between Bill Skarsgård and the woman, so he
Hmm.
just started writing something new. He says that in interviews.
Oh,
So
interesting. Okay.
I'm not even like being hyperbolic when I say
Hmm.
he literally didn't know how to finish that story, so he moved on. That's literally what he said he did. And then the other movie that gets me every time is It Follows.
That's mine. I hate it.
I think It Follows is
It's
so overhyped.
awful. Terrible movie. I'm sorry.
I think it's terrible.
Awful.
By the way, will I be there for the sequel on opening night? Yes, I will. Like this is what horror fans do to themselves. I could do this all night, Ash. You
Yeah,
have
there's
no
there's a
idea
few
the
more
can of worms
questions.
you've opened.
I know. And I love how like unhinged you're being. Everyone's like, oh, it's okay, that's how you feel. You're like, no, you're wrong. This is it.
No, 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 Ash,
Like,
you're
this is trash.
100% wrong.
So what horror movie do you think is underrated?
Underrated?
Hmm.
Wow, that's tough. I'd like to hear yours first, and maybe it'll
Hmm.
jog my brain.
Okay. Mine is Incident in a Ghostland. I don't know if you've ever seen Incident in a
I
Ghostland.
haven't seen it. It's
Oh,
on
it's
my
amazing.
list,
It's
the infinite list
amazing.
of things I need to
Like
watch.
when I say amazing, I'm not saying like, oh my God, it's so good, I'll change your life. But it's like I can't say too much because I don't want to give it away. It's one of those ones. And
Fair
when you
enough.
watch it, you'll be shocked. Like you'll be like, I did not see. This is not what I thought this was about. And it's just so beautifully done. And the acting is
Okay.
amazing. It's quite disturbing, but it's a really, really good horror film. It's very interesting, very well done. I loved it.
This jogs my memory. I'm
Hmm.
glad we did it this way. It's not. I don't know that it's underrated. I think it's underseen,
Hmm.
and that is the movie called Eyes of My Mother. Have you seen this
I
movie?
haven't seen that, but I've heard about it. I haven't seen it.
I think it's a very, very, very good movie that balances when to show violence and when not to show it. I
Okay.
think it does it because it's very just. It can be very, very, very disturbing at times.
Hmm.
And then at other times when you're like, oh, they're going to show that thing and then they don't show it, and why and how they don't show it is brilliant.
Okay,
And I
cool.
think and it's funny that that guy, I think, went on to do, I want to say, the remake of The Grudge or something, which I think no
Oh,
one was very
okay.
much into.
Yeah.
Um, but that film is fantastic. It stars a woman, Kika Magalhaes,
Hmm.
who I've become friends with. We
Hmm.
basically, she saw my praise of the movie online and she was like, "Thank you
Um,
so much." And then I started
so
bugging her, and
cool.
now we talk all the time.
You're like, please be my friend.
And she's a filmmaker as well. Yeah,
Amazing.
she's she's out there making films, and she has a short film that's also making the rounds. We're making the rounds at the same time. We're in similar
Mm.
festivals and stuff together. So shout out to
Nice.
Kika, and shout out to Isa My Mother, which is streaming kind of everywhere. I think if you look it up, you can probably see it for free on Tubi or
Yeah,
something like
I've
that.
heard of it. Is this the Iranian film? Am I making that up?
No, no,
No,
but it looks
maybe
like
it's
it
not the
on
same movie.
the posters look the same
Right, okay.
as the
I
girl
don't
who
know
looks
why.
walks home at night or whatever.
That's the one. Yeah,
It
that's what I'm getting
looks
them mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the posters kind of look similar, but the Eyes of My Mother, I think, is criminally underseen,
Hmm.
and I think it's very effective. I think it's a very, very, very good movie.
This is a good question. I like that I'm saying that like I didn't write these questions. This is such a
These are
good.
great.
No, no.
Now, here's a question.
What do you think is the best modern horror? So anything past 2010.
Oh, I'm going to say this right now, Ash. The
Uh-huh.
2020s are kicking much ass.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
great horror
Yeah,
movies in the
yeah,
2020s.
definitely.
I'm inclined to say The Substance is right up there. I think
That's
it's one
great.
of the best.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I
Mm.
will also say When Evil Lurks out of
Yeah.
Argentina.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, Ash, you must.
It's been on my
I
list
think
for
When Evil
ages.
Lurks
Yeah.
is When Evil Lurks is absolute genius. It's an incredible movie that so I would say When Evil Lurks, The
Hmm.
Substance, and I would say also Talk to Me, which I think is a
Ooh,
maybe a more polarizing movie.
good.
Like not everybody loves that, but I
Love it.
think Talk to Me is a watershed moment in horror because
Mm.
it was the first time we saw millennials tell a horror story their way.
Yeah.
Like they are telling a possession story the way a millennial would tell a possession story.
Hmm.
So to me, Talk to Me felt like a handing of the torch over to a new generation of storytellers, because horror really is like Gen Xers and boomers telling a lot of the
Mm.
stories, and it was like this big impactful horror film that was expertly executed. Even if you didn't like it, like it's still a very well made movie,
Love it.
but it's told from a brand new perspective, and that excited me so much. I was like, wow, like we're gonna get to see stories from a different generation
Mhm.
finally like take over. Those are amongst my picks. Talk to Me, When
Really
Evil
good
Lurks, The
answers.
Substance are just tremendous. What about you? What do you think are like some of the great new horror films?
This one it gets divided, but Midsummer is a masterpiece in my opinion.
I think it's
I think
great.
it's
I think it's a good
incredible,
movie.
like amazing. Like I watched it like during lockdown and I just felt physically ill. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I always like this is a proper horror film. Like I don't know how to feel. I feel uncomfortable. But I was like, that's the point. I don't think I could ever watch it again. But I was like, that's a proper horror film to me. Like that's what it's supposed to make you feel like. And then I mean, Hereditary as well. I think is brilliant, and it's so divided
I
because
think it's
some people
amazing.
you like it, yeah, because a lot of people
I
hate
think it's great.
Hereditary.
We had determined on the podcast because we reviewed it, but it came out well after our podcasts
Mhm.
started. And we were like, if we had a podcast in 2019 or whenever it came out, that would have been our number one horror movie of the
Oh
year.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Hereditary's
yeah,
incredible. And I think
yeah.
I want people to go and watch this and realize something. The antagonist in Hereditary is not in the movie.
Okay,
I
what do
think
you mean
people
by
don't
that?
realize that. The bad guy,
Hmm.
the killer, you all they're always in the movie. In
Hmm.
Hereditary, they're not in the movie. You never meet them. The
Interesting.
the 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 antagonist is the mother who died.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all her design, it was all her machinations, and she's not in the film. And she doesn't ever talk to anyone. You never hear her. You
Mm,
just see the product of her planning.
yeah,
And I go, nobody appreciates this movie for that. Where
I know.
you never meet the antagonist, and yet it's so horrific and so terrifying, and everything that's happening to this family was planned by someone that we never meet. I think
Yeah.
it's genius.
And the acting is insane. Like the fact
Tony
Tony
Collette.
Collette, mental. Like not even a
It's
nomination, nothing. Like I don't understand.
no,
Like don't
no,
understand.
it
Don't get it.
no. She needs
I
it. She
know.
needs It's that.
And then I have to say Nosferatu as well. Like that blew my mind. Like Nosferatu was just
I loved it.
incredible. Like I was really lucky enough to go to a screening before it came out, and it was just so anticipated and so everyone was so excited. And at the end, when you have that ending scene, I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't seen it. All I'm going to say is one of the most beautiful visual things I've ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't even speak. I was just like, this is unbelievable. Like it's hard to describe that without explaining what it was, but it was just like everyone in the screening couldn't speak. Like it ended and everyone just sat there and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I feel like that was, I don't know whether to cry, whether to, I just don't know what to do. But yeah, that was like, oh, I love it so much. That's one of my favorite movies. So yeah, those ones.
It's good.
There's so many, but there's those ones. And you may have kind of answered half of this already, but I always say to people, what do you think, in your opinion, are the top 3 best horror movies ever made?
So yeah, I think my numbers 1 and 2 still stand. I think Alien is a perfect film. I wouldn't change a frame of that movie. So I Alien I think is very important, and also the performances in Alien are criminally under spoken about.
Yeah.
The performances in Alien are tremendously good. So there's Alien, there's Texas Chainsaw for all the rambling that I did on that earlier, and then I think The Thing. I do.
Okay.
I think The Thing is up there as one of the best horror films ever made. I think when people watch it, they can't deny it. It's one of those things where like I can't deny that this is genius.
Yeah, that's fair. What is one horror movie that you have not seen that would shock people? For example, I've probably said a few now, but there's always one film that people have not seen, they'll get very shocked if they've never seen it.
Boy, I got to think about this. I don't know.
It's a hard one.
That's a really hard one because it's true about like regular movies. There's regular movies that I have not seen that people are like, "Are you kidding me? You haven't seen that?"
What's your regular
But horror movies? I mean, probably like The Godfather. Like I haven't seen The Godfather. Yeah,
You've never
like
seen The Godfather?
and I'm in no rush
Wow.
to see The
Okay.
Godfather. Like
And you should
it's
watch
fine.
The Godfather though, as a filmmaker.
I should.
Yeah.
I should, but as Francis Ford Coppola made Apocalypse Now, and if I want to study Coppola, I study that. Like
Fair enough.
Apocalypse Now is insane. But in terms of horror, I don't know. I don't know that I haven't seen something that's like everyone has seen this.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think
Interesting.
so.
I haven't seen The Fly, which is a big one.
Oh, The Fly's The Fly's a
Yeah.
big one, and that's
It's a
great.
big
I
one.
mean, I love The
Yeah.
Fly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
but
been
I
told
know I
that's
haven't seen
scary.
that.
But yeah, there's always one. So if you think of one, let me know because it'll come to you later, and there'll be one horror.
Yeah, it will.
One I haven't seen. But you watch The Godfather for filmmaker purposes, just once.
I
Just watch
guess
it once.
so. I guess.
Just watch it once. It's really.
I'm in no
I've seen it
rush.
once. I'm in no rush to watch it again, but I've seen it and it's very good.
Yeah.
So if you, as a director, could work with any actor, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Wow. Oh, that's a really hard question because I love actors. No, I think it's the reason why I'm obsessed with movies. I love what they do on screen and how they bring emotion to life. I mean, I really love. Okay, I'll just do this because I'll overthink this. And this is not even my favorite actor. My favorite actor is probably like Jack Nicholson.
Oh, of course.
Which I would love to work with, by the way, but I think Jack's done.
It's done.
I would love to do a psychological horror film with Daniel Day-Lewis.
But you know what's so insane, right? I'm not even just saying this. I knew you were going to say that. I had this weird feeling you were going to say Daniel Day-Lewis, and I don't know why. I can imagine you loving Daniel Day-Lewis. That's so interesting.
But I swear I'm not like the biggest Daniel Day-Lewis person. Like I'm not. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. But I just go with an actor of that caliber who does things on that level. I would love to like have a great script from some great writer and be like, Daniel, let's do this. Like show me what you can do with this, and get the camera in the right place and put the light in the right place and call action and just let him go. Yeah. Like I think he would make something that would knock everybody on their ass. Like I really do. So I it's a like impulsive answer, but I think it's an answer that everyone would be like, yeah, that actually I do want to see that. You know who else is honestly phenomenal is Florence Pugh.
She's amazing. Like Midsommar. Oh my God.
Midsommar. We Live in Time. Have you seen We Live in Time?
No. What's that one?
It will break your heart.
We live in
And
insane.
she's so tremendous in it.
Yeah, she's a really good
Um,
actress. She is.
very good for like
Yeah.
for the now times for somebody who's
Yeah.
like right here, right now actor.
Yeah.
I think Florence Pugh is incredible.
I'll just quickly ask you lastly about your podcast. You want to talk a little bit about your podcast?
Rewind of the Living
Mhm.
Dead is about 5 years running. Myself and Damon Martin, we talk about one horror movie a week, and we break that movie down, perhaps annoyingly because we're a movie obsessed. So we'll talk about one movie a week, and you can get us literally everywhere you get your podcasts. We're all over every single podcast platform: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can find me on social media. You can find Rewind of the Living Dead on Instagram. We're most active there. And then you can find me at Director Patrick pretty much everywhere on social media. I don't have Facebook, but everywhere else I pretty much am. And it's the Patrick of the Living Dead on TikTok. But I think if you search Director Patrick, I think I will come up
Yeah, you do
on
come up.
TikTok.
Anything on the directory and the word Patrick, you're there. You've taken over.
That was by design. Yes. So yeah, anywhere on social media, I am at Director Patrick, and I'm very active on there. So if you're reaching out to me, you're talking to me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been lovely. I don't know what time it is over where you are. It's very dark here now. Probably.
It's early here, dark
it?
there. Ash, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to talk with you long form. I have a feeling we could do this forever. I'm 100% sure of that. So yeah, we'll have much longer voice messages on Instagram from now on.
We will. We definitely will. Well, if anyone wants to find anything from me, so I am under Ashley B. Red on pretty much everything. Ashley B. Red Music Official on Instagram. TikTok is Ashley B. Red. Everywhere is pretty much Ashley B. Red. But yeah, thank you so much. And I'll see everyone next time. Thank you, Patrick. Really appreciate it.